The United States has intensified its military presence in the Middle East with precision airstrikes in Yemen and strategic deployments. This isn't just about neutralizing threats in the immediate region, it's a larger message to Iran. The withdrawal of Iranian support for the Houthis reflects that pressure, wouldn't you say, Duke? This is diplomacy through overwhelming force.
Absolutely, Hans. Key assets like the B-2 bombers over at Diego Garcia? Those ain't hanging around by accident. It's about keeping Iran in check while hammering the Houthis hard enough that they can't regroup.
That's an important point. The B-2 bombers and the USS Carl Vinson are robust tools in establishing military dominance. Trump's administration has shifted from defense to proactive measures, aiming to dismantle not just local threats, but disassemble Iran's entire regional network.
And it's showing results. Look, the Houthis are losing ground fast. Iran? They're cutting ties, not because they want to, but because they don't have a choice. They know they can't take U.S. air power head-on. Like I always say, the best defense is overwhelming offense.
But there's a broader question here. Sustainable dominance versus risky overreach. Iran's proxies are weakening, but is this pressure long-term strategy or just tactical success? History tells us there's a thin line between the two.
Yeah, thin line or not, Hans. Iran's on the back foot. The Houthis can't hold out much longer without Tehran's lifeline. And once they're out, well, that's one less problem in the Red Sea. But, you're not wrong. This is a tightrope act.
The faltering Houthis could mark a shift in Yemen's power dynamic, potentially allowing the former government to retake authority. That spells the collapse of an Iranian proxy and perhaps hints at Tehran's waning regional influence. Yet, we must ask ourselves at what cost these victories are achieved and what risks remain for the United States. History often judges these moments more harshly than the present does.
You and your history lessons, Hans. I'm just saying, power lasts when you're strong enough to back it up. And right now, this campaign's making that crystal clear.
As we examine the broader scope of U.S. foreign strategy, Duke, the relationship with Israel stands as a cornerstone of regional influence. Defense initiatives like the Iron Dome demonstrate that our military alliances reach far beyond Yemen or the Red Sea. Yet, with growing scrutiny over allegations like civilian casualties, it raises a critical question. Can the U.S. sustain this level of support while answering the global call for justice and accountability?
Look, Hans, supporting Israel has always been about more than just shared values. It's about positioning. We can't afford to play soft in the Middle East. Sure, some folks are getting loud about humanitarian concerns, but do you compromise a strong ally in a region packed with instability? That's a no-go in my book.
Strategic positioning is one side of the equation, but ignoring the demands for accountability, especially in the age of instant global critique, Duke, is precarious. There are calls for more transparency in how military aid is used. Addressing those could strengthen trust, domestically and internationally. Reflecting on this, Churchill's words come to mind. To each, their own burden must fall. Perhaps that's what this moment encapsulates.
Transparency? Sure, fine. But let's not get tangled up so bad that we start hindering our ability to act when it counts. Bottom line, allies are allies. If strengthening ties keeps threats like Iran and Hamas off balance, I'm all in. Can't win wars in the press, Hans. You win them by staying ahead on the battlefield.
True, but wars are also won or lost in the court of public opinion. The U.S. has the opportunity not only to lead militarily, but to reshape its role as a mediator in conflicts like Gaza. Historically, moments of crisis offer a platform for leadership, but they also demand caution. Missteps often sow seeds for future blowback.
I hear you, but sometimes being too careful costs more in the long run. Look at Yemen. That bombing campaign isn't just preaching deterrence, it's showing it. Same deal with Israel. The stronger we back them, the less room we leave for bad actors to gain ground. You play hard, you win hard.
And yet, we must accept that actions ripple far beyond their initial intent. Supporting democracy and stability often requires reckoning with unintended consequences. In time, one wonders, will this boldness define a lasting peace or fuel cycles of resistance?
Probably both, Hans. That's the thing with power. There's no end game, just moves and countermoves. Question is, are you willing to keep playing? Personally, I say we gotta play to win. Always.
Perhaps that is the crux of this era. The United States finds itself as both participant and arbiter in a fragmented world. The choices we make now will shape the landscape of alliances and values for generations. And while today's calculations are unlikely to be perfect, history will judge us by how we strive to balance strength with wisdom. On that note, Duke, always insightful. To our listeners, thank you for joining us today.
Always a good chat, Hans. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay sharp out there.